Good afternoon, one and all. A warm welcome to the 14th edition of Business Opportunity Over Chai webinar series, a platform through which Franchiseindia is promoting and presenting you all the promising brands which are creating value in market. With this introduction, I would like to invite our panelist, Chairman, Franchiseindia Group, Gaurav Sir, and our MD, Sonia Ma'am, for this particular session to share their insights and views. We also welcome our brand of the day, as well as speaker of the day, Prashant Bhatia. The brand name is Praadis, and he's the founder of this particular brand. Just to give you a background of the brand, they are into online education platform portal imparting knowledge through various interactive modes of learning. Thank you so much, Prashant, for joining the session. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I am Prashant Bhatia, co-founder of Praadis Education. So basically, we are an online education portal imparting knowledge through various interactive modes of learning across the globe. To be precise, it's 8 different modes of learning that we are currently offering. We offer learning programs. We have 2 applications. One is a junior application that is from kindergarten, lower kindergarten to 2 years of age. And then the other one is from 3rd to 12th. Our application also entices aspirants for competitive exams nationally and internationally. Our aim at Praadis Education is to create a welcoming and exciting environment where we provide rich and diverse content through excellent and innovative methods. So the 8 different modes of learning that I was talking about is that we have incorporated, after doing a lot of research, is animation. We have incorporated a lot of animation in our videos. So we have what you call as 2D, 3D interactive videos. We have learning through VFX, through smartboard classes, live classrooms, and so that students can achieve their best in academics. So basically, we want to be a one-stop application for all the students that are learning out there. And we are offering every subject that's taught, and we are doing it by curriculum worldwide. So we haven't created a generic platform. It is curriculum based, and we're targeting every country globally. So that when a child opens the application based on their country, they are familiar with the content that's in there. And it's not generic. We're not teaching generic concepts. And our vision is to bring all the education systems to a single platform, as I mentioned earlier. And every child is unique. So the reason for offering 8 different modes of learning is basically so that we are teaching one concept through 8 different methods. Unlike the regular chalk and board method that's taught in schools, we're using the 8 different modes of learning. We are inculcating the same concept to that child through this different modes of learning. Nobody's ever thought about this, but ever wonder why in a class of 30 students, there's only 1, 2, or 3 toppers? Basically it's the different modes of learning that gets to a child. We have also incorporated artificial intelligence into our application, which helps parents, which tells the parents what kind of learner their child is. Is he using the WARC model? Is he a visual? Is he an audio? What kind of learner is he? We've also incorporated a reading program, because reading in terms of the reading is currently lacking on a lot of students, a lot of the early learners. So the earlier the more books they're able to read, the more information they're able to inculcate. So so we've incorporated a reading program as well. And that's why we are creating the content as per the country's curriculum. So we aim to, as we develop our brand, we aim to have every curriculum that's out there in every country on our application. And we pay extreme attention to quality education. So we make sure that the content that's going out there in our application is, goes through quality assurance a number of times. We have a number of experts, SMEs, from across India, from various prestigious universities who are creating our content, doing the quality assurance on our content, and we have the best developers working on getting the latest technologies into our application. And the number one priority for us is customer service. So we are making sure, it's not that we sell our application and we step back. We are there every step of the way. Every child is assigned a mentor from our side who monitors their progress as we go along, as the child learns using our application. So now I will turn over to the representation that you have there, and yep, okay. So as you can see, I'm presenting right now. You can see the online educational ecosystem right now, how things work. So there are content providers. There's delivery of content, educational content and services. You can see how the revenue sharing is done. You can see how the course fee and the subscriptions are created. So this is the current ecosystem that is out there, so once everybody gets a chance to look at that, and that's pretty much how we have been following as well. Now you can see that the EdTech market, especially now, this is the EdTech market. This was, that was done prior to the lockdown. Now, given the current lockdown scenario, we have seen a tenfold increase in students going online. Everybody's on Zoom, on Google Meet, running their classroom. So there's a huge base coming from all the tiers, all the cities out in India, all the cities in the world that are basically trying to catch up to get their children up to speed in academics, so that they don't miss out on any core concepts or any topics, and they're able to keep up with the academics that the session that is going on. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, e-learning opens up a lot of educational resources. So, the content is available 24/7. Students can go, some students are morning people, some are afternoon, some are evening, some are, midnight owls. So, given the current market trends, people are really adapting to this online education portals. So, and the potential for growth is exponential in this in the K-12 market and beyond, of course. Yep. All right. So, as I went over, this is more about us, what we're doing, what are the steps, our vision, as I went over earlier, that, that our content is designed based on the country's curriculum. So as we roll out globally, we're adding more and more content based on every country's curriculum. So this is what I was talking about. We actually have 3 applications. One is the junior, the senior, and we have the parent application. The parent application lets the parent monitor their child's performance, even though they're not in front of their child. So basically, all the data that's available is, all the test reports are available. Even if you're in the office, as soon as your child opens up the application, you can see how many videos has he seen, how many books has he read, how many tests has he taken, how many mock tests has he taken, how many assessments has he taken. So, the parent app is a very valuable application for parents to monitor their child. So even though they're using the application, it's not unmonitored. You can literally look at a step-by-step as to what your child is doing on our application. So we've come up with the concept of the Praadis Learning Club as well. So what the Learning Club entails is that there are 4 clubs within that. There's a math, there's a science, there's a reading, and a coding club. Now, I would like to point out that, our application has all the subjects, and we've added an additional product called the coding club. So you can code in almost every language that's out there, because, programming has now become part and parcel of the children's life. Now they're teaching a lot of the latest programming languages in all the schools. So the idea of the PLC came about is to get a innovative solution to coaching, basically, so that the students, and our idea is to get PLCs in every complexes out there in the malls, shopping complexes, offline standalone market stations, so that the parents can get access to technologically innovative products other than just the chalk and board, that's been taught in the regular coaching classroom. So using our application, we have a 30-minute session that every child is able to sign up for 3 days a week for every club. And using our application and gamification that's included already in our application, the child is able to, get a hands-on approach to the application that they're already learning. And it has the payback has a very, it's very lucrative, the franchisee format that we have for the Praadis Learning Club, as well as for the application. So in terms of brand support from our side, we do hand holdings, from right from the start, from setting up, establishing a PLC, or if you are coming on board for selling our application, in terms of how to go through our brand guidelines, what the comprehensive training for your marketing agents, providing all the equipment, managing the processes, managing the performances of the employees, getting marketing done for the brand, as well as whichever city you're setting up, doing all the advertisement and promotions, and making sure you have the appropriate PR coverage. So the preferred partner profile that we are looking for, are professionals from the educational industry, who wants to be an entrepreneur, who have a good financial bandwidth, who want to, who are really, who want to make sure that education, is something that that's their forte, or even if you have an existing facility, if you have an existing showroom, a space that you want to, upscale and be able to use the PLC model and get payback on that. So you can see that the format that's all out there. So you have an area developer. Area developer basically stands out is that they take a city, they take a region, and they want to develop that as their forte. They take exclusive rights for that for 5 years. They assign, of course, with the brand, working with the brand, sub-franchisees for the PLCs, and sub-franchisees who don't want to be a PLC, but they just want to sell our application. So, those are the 3 tiers of franchisees that, that we are working on currently. And those are the terms that are displayed on the screen. So, I'll open up the Q&A session. Sonia ma'am and Mr. Maria on the panelist, and if there's any other further questions. But as you can see, we are a brand that that is innovating. There's in the current scenario, there is nobody else who's doing innovation in education using the PLC model. So we also have one thing I have to point out. We have augmented reality games. So basically, you can use the application that we have to do virtual tests. You know, your physics labs, your chemistry labs, your bio labs. You can run through that with our application without actually having the whole lab set up. So you can use AR. You know, and we have a device. You know, we have that can be done through the regular tablets once you have our application, and you know, so you can. That's a really an innovative innovation that we've incorporated into our application. And I'd like to hand over to Mr. Maria and Ms. Sonia.
Thank you, Prashant. Very, very helpful. I think you're absolutely right. The numbers which you reflected on EduTech has significantly changed, and it has become a reality. This a lot of work has been going on in technology in education, especially all the processes getting or the delivery practices. You know, so we divide education into three parts. One, obviously, the content. Second is you know, the certification, and third is delivery. I think both the content and the delivery had a huge impact of technology, and these are going to be significantly changed, evolved the way people consume and so forth. And one of the largest valuations you see in the EduTech space is been coming now, and almost everybody from Reliance to other groups, almost everybody is investing into EduTech companies, because we feel that at least from a delivery practice viewpoint, both at home or at campuses, or even at the labs, which are studios you're creating, which is a big industry, all would change and technology would take over. And I like your model because I think the principle of learning itself changes with every student, and how technology can adapt both by flexibility of usage, different tools they can use, and so on and so forth. And a lot of intelligence can be built in to skill up every student, understanding their gap areas and so on and so forth. So I have because while you have explained the entire business model very well, but I would like you to still go further on for our audience. And I saw a few people joining a little late. So it will be great if we go back to the model. So what you're saying is that you will create these lab studios. These are PLC labs, which are like small centers like other coaching companies run. These are small centers. Would they be assisted centers? Somebody would be assisting in these centers where when the student comes in, and that's one. Second, what age groups are we looking at? Very focused age groups we want to really work on, especially for the 4 clubs you've created, and a little bit on what kind of a pricing structure and so on and so forth per classes would need to be done. And further to that is that would a student also get same app to be using same information or app or a tool back in home also where they can practice? So over to you, Prashant.
Sure. There was a question that I saw on the panelists saying that how do you motivate? So I wanted to point out that we have a redeem rewards program as well. So, so the child earns coins when they take tests, when they look at the videos. So once those coins get accumulated, they can go to a rewards section and claim various different items that we have listed on. It could be your pencil boxes, your backpacks, lunch boxes. So those are things that are there. So that's how we keep the child motivated to make sure they're using our application, because by earning those coins, they can keep watching the meter, and then as soon as they have enough coins, they can go and redeem it from our Praadis shop that's already incorporated into the application. And then Mr. Maria mentioned about, yes, it is going to be a mentored. The PLC will be mentored. It's staffed. Initially we are looking at the minimum seating is having 36 students in one club. If you have more capacity, if you have a bigger space, you can double that, and it'll be monitored. And the advantage is that if you sign up for the PLC club, you get an add-on. You get offline sheets. You get there are other there's a separate section in the PLC that gets activated if you sign up. So other than whatever you're seeing in the application, you have an added benefit in using the PLC because it reinforces all the concepts that you've already learned through our application. So when they show up at the club, it's definitely mentored. And it's staffed with people with expertise in coding, in reading, in English, and in maths and in science. In terms of the question was in terms of margins. Yes.
Student, what do you charge each student? What are the charges for each student on a monthly basis?
Yes. So right now, if you have our application, it's 4,500 rupees. Per month is what we are charging per club, correct, per club.
And a student can join multiple clubs at the same time?
Yes, they can, as long as the time slots are available, they can. And also there was a question brought up that, if you switch cities, for example, so we're working on that as well, where you're able to, for example, there are parents that, work in government, or even in private that have to get up and leave. So they can transfer as long as slots are available. We'll be able to, transfer their existing membership from one location to another.
Sure. So essentially, do you think that pricing would change from cities to cities, because 4,500 maybe for a tier 3 city might become an expensive, especially when a kid takes 2 programs, it becomes about 9,000 rupees, and
yes.
For a smaller city, the coaching prices are relatively, because what you're doing is you're actually taking the conventional coaching, which is about $6 billion industry, and shifting that to more digital tool-based learning capabilities. So do you think the pricing which would be affected in the smaller cities?
Yes, definitely. And if you do sign up for multiple clubs, there's a clubbing discount as well. And then if you add siblings to that, so we intend the cost to come down as we move from city to city.
Sure. And who do you think is going to be your competition? Would you see competition really coming from the conventional coaching space, or you would say, learning tools which are coming through technology, which are assisting and directly to homes, and like a lot of companies have come in, which is direct to home kind of a learning capability? Who's your bigger competition there?
I think our bigger competition is the direct to home, because traditional coaching is still lagging in terms of getting the innovation that is required. They're still teaching with a regular, whiteboard or your chalkboard kind of thing. So that's where we see that, our direct competition would be the direct to home, applications that are out there. That's why we have incorporated, a lot of innovation into our application, so that the child is always engaged. And also one more added advantage is that, for example, if you're in a mall, if you're in a complex, if you're around, this gives you the added benefit that your child is studying while you're shopping, that if you think about it that way, and it's not limited to the malls that we're targeting. We're going to standalone complexes. People can open this anywhere where there's space available. So, so it gives them kind of sense of security that the child is learning while they're taking care of their daily need, while the parents are taking care of their daily needs, so that's where this concept of has arisen.
And age group, what age group is the perfect age group which you feel that?
We are going from, we're just like our application, we're going from KG, so basically, I guess from 4-year-olds, all the way up to 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds is the age group.
They obviously have to come in different.
In different batches, yes. Yeah, so that's why you can have the younger children in the morning batches, and the older children in the evening batches, because younger children have a lot of energy in the mornings and the afternoons. So that way you can maximize your club space throughout the day.
Sure. Now I'd like to invite Sonia to start taking up some questions. Sonia, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhatia, for coming today on this webinar and addressing our investors here. And I feel looking at the opportunities, your industry and your brand brings a lot of super value for all our stakeholders. And I feel what better time than the times that we are in, where the industry is in the biggest demand, and has also got the status of mainstream education, which it deserved for very long. And I personally feel intellectual services, EdTech, online education has witnessed the highest growth in this period of lockdown. And we were chatting before we started off, you had almost about 2.5 lakh applications or downloads which happened in this period. And I feel this will go much beyond boundaries, and I feel the overall scope of the education has widened. You know, it has become more inclusive rather, and we see even world bodies like WHO, I was reading, they're also embracing the e-learning modes to teach healthcare professionals. And a lot of even governments have started embracing. Tamil Nadu government recently tied up with an international company from Australia for all the schools in Tamil Nadu. So the trends are being in emerging technology which you adapt to VR and AR. And I saw one of the participants in the webinar also talked about how do you engage or motivate students. I feel AR itself is a process which is gamified, and the results also have shown that it has improved the retention rates of kids because they feel more sticky when the content is given in the form of a game. And overall, we have seen, Prashantji, we have seen mobile learning, micro learning, social learning. These are the trends that are seen in the last 2 odd years. And this recent time also has seen a lot of these professionals. I see that also being a part of the many services that you offer. A lot of professionals also have started boosting this trend where they want to update their skills and knowledge. And like we were discussing, we had so many EdTech companies, and almost 14 big companies got raised money in this period, out of which 9 were completely startups who raised money. So we see obviously a very big demand for this category. And now my question to you is, Mr. Bhatia, you know, we have seen business models and core offerings for all the online companies or EdTech companies, which remain the same more or less. But however, what I see and what I'm reading is also there's a high number of blended learning or integrated degree partnerships with institutions, which a lot of companies like you or others are looking at. What is your take on this? How do you think this would go, or this would completely be one side? Do you see a hybrid model also coming in, or you think it's only online and there's no blended learning or integrated degrees partnerships with institutions you are looking in the near run?
We are looking in the near run, so that's that's why we got the learning club. So it's a hybrid blend, and the best part of our application is that it is not just one. Somebody asked the question, how are you different than, for example, Vedantu? Or so we have offline. We have it's an online mode, but we have live classrooms, we have recorded lectures, and then we have 24/7 learning. You can open up all those lectures any time of the day and learn. So it's not just live lectures as to you're waiting for the teacher to come online. You're waiting for them when they start the classroom. So all those are available. And in addition, the core concepts are already there in our application. So you can go back any time of the day, any time of the night, go back and learn. And in terms of you mentioning about the integrating with the certifications. So yes, we are looking into that as well to see. When there's some, right now, I don't think that there's a body that governs this. So when something like that comes up, and who's able to provide us with some kind of certification, because there's no governing body right now for online education, other than if you have a college affiliation, things of that nature. But when the time comes, and we're already eyeing that, when we do get into the college sphere, right now we're only offering till 12th grade, and once we get into we are already working on the US and UK and the Western country curriculums already, and US has now just started changing their laws and their rules, where they had required physical, by law they required physical presence in the classrooms,
right?
Because of public, everything is public schools there, public teaching. So as they change that, I'm sure that they will come about certifying these online applications, so that the 10th board and the 12th board are able to certify those students who use our applications like ourselves. And we have a lot of mock tests as well, a lot of assessments, and the schools are using a lot of these. My child personally also just went through an online exam through the school's website. Of course, it was, it was a very which are still in immature form. They're still working on that. So I think we are steps ahead of this so that we can offer this to schools as well. We also have a model for if the schools want to use our application within their premises as well. And we have that application set up as well.
Great. So I'll take up some questions. I think some of the questions have already been taken by you, but I'll still pick up some questions which are important to be done. We need a little bit of understanding of how the area franchisee model works. What kind of margins would go to the master? What kind of margins go to a unit franchisee? A little bit on that. And what is the cost of these applications for the student is one of the questions that we have from one of our viewers.
Right. So our application retailing MRP is 30,000 rupees. Is basically, it includes a lot of the things that I've discussed already. And of course, when it comes to the franchising, depending, so the area developer model basically entices is that to get the bigger investors. So, you take an area, say, for example, in the city, I'll take a, like, for example, if you take a tier 2, tier 3 city and you want to develop that entirely on your own. So you get the bigger margin. You being the area developer, you get the maximum royalty. And then, if there are smaller PLCs that want to set up in your area, you get a percentage of the revenue from them as well. So that's the advantage of being an area developer. You get the maximum benefit per slot. Not only do you earn from your own PLCs, you earn from all the PLCs that, if you don't have the capacity or you open already 3 or 4 now, you can assign sub-franchisees and bring them in and you get a cut from them as well. So, that's where the area developer gets the maximum revenue, maximum ROI. And as you can see, the smaller cities, you get the ROI is a lot quicker than the bigger cities. Of course, lower real estate cost and things like that.
Well, I'll take another question and maybe I'll add on to that. Between the two models, there's somebody who wants to know the kind of people or the qualities or profiling of people that you need for a franchisee like this. I like to split that into 2 parts. For the master, you said, a master would need to open one of his own franchisee and perhaps he would sub-franchise other. Is there a difference between these 2 profiles? And because you said a master franchisee need not be from the education background. So do you see these 2 profiles similar apart from the investment capacity which the master needs to bring? And the other is operational capacity. This is one question. And do you see a possibility of a FICO model anywhere within the state or the country at large also being awarded?
So to the first question, I think, we mentioned the fact that, you don't have to be from the education background. I think if you're from the business background and you want to see, you're doing a service already in terms of education, because everything's already in the application. There's nothing that you have to learn. You're keeping employees. As a brand, we're providing the support in terms of, the interview process on who you have to keep as the mentors in the learning club. So it's not, you don't have to be from the education background. You just have to be an entrepreneur. I guess a good sales and marketing, in business. If you're business oriented, you can take this and you can run with it. Same with the sub-franchisee. If you're looking for a good investment return, this is the place to be, because like other franchises that are out there, there's no perishables in this. Even if, for example, even in the lockdown period, you can still service your customers. Because we are still providing interactive worksheets, interactive games. We're keeping the students engaged. So there's a benefit in this. So even if your PLCs are closed, for example, right now, you're still engaging the student, you're still providing the customer support. So yes, I would like to go back to saying that you don't have to be from the education background. As long as you're business minded and you have money to invest, you get a good ROI in that. Can you repeat your second question? I didn't catch that. You had 2 questions.
Yeah, I am. The second was on the FICO model, which is franchisee owned, company operated. Is there a model where the investor makes an investment and the company runs and operates? Yes,
we have. Yes, we are open to that as well.
And the margins would be different, because
yes,
there would be certain management fee that you would take for operating the outlet. And that is correct. Case to case, which can be discussed.
That's on case to case basis, and depending on the investment and also how many PLCs are we looking at, and but we are open to that, correct.
Great. Prashanti, just adding on to that, you talked about profile of people. I think in my own opinion, what I could really observe, I think people from the retail or distribution background would be very good fit as well, apart from people from the education, because this would need a lot of collaborations at the local level, with schools, maybe preschools for students to get on board. So anybody who comes from a marketing, distribution or retail background, I feel in my opinion, should also be a good fitment for a profile.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, there's a question which Anshuman wants to know. There are many software companies who are providing white labeled software to local coaching education centers to build their online capabilities in terms of content, and in order to capture students through online channels or mobile applications and websites. How do you see yourself as a brand to ensure gross margins of your business and franchisees associated with you?
So we've come across that. So see, the thing is, we have put our blood and sweat into this application. We have made sure that the quality exists. There are, and I'm not going to say that, I'm not mislabeling anyone or pointing this out, but the thing is, people are out there that are just making content very quickly, scanning books, putting it out there with no regard to quality, just so that the coaching companies can get up to par. Basically, the cheaper the software they can get their hands into, so that they can call themselves as having the online channel of education. So where we are coming in is the customer support and making sure that we have everything under our brand. So it's not just you having the ebooks, not just having the online classrooms and the recorded lecture videos. Like I said, we have 8 different modes of learning. So that same concept. So if you take what is light or what is force, what is friction, it's taught in 8 different methods. I don't think that the white label software that is being made available to local coachings has that. I think what I've seen so far is, one teacher teaching in front of the whiteboard, and that's about it. We are adding VFX. Even we have teachers who are teaching through smart boards, but then we add graphics to it, we add VFX to it, so that a child better understands. If right now application is at no cost, so you're welcome to go and download it and see for yourself what kind of content is already on there. So you can see how we are different than the white label software. In having 8 different methods of learning, that requires a lot of time and effort, and we've been working on this for about 18 months now. And that's where we are. So the white label software that's already out there, I can't say what kind of, what specifically this person is referring to, but I can say that the software that I've seen, it is not up to par in terms of quality for what a child, sees. And then the question was, how do you see to ensure gross margins? So our application cost, if you look at it in terms of from a coaching class, and people spend anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 rupees every month on coaching classes. We're giving you everything under one application for 30,000 rupees. And of course, that's the MRP, and that's open. We have discounts and promotional offerings and things like that. So it's very difficult to beat that. And then you have the safety of your own home to be able to study. If you cannot go to a PLC, you still have the application to be, available to you 24/7. If you're going to a coaching center, that's what, half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour that you're paying for. It's 300 rupees, 500 rupees, depending on the city you're in. So if you look at it, we are giving you 24/7, 365 days a year learning. So, that's how we are different, and that's how we ensure that the gross margins exist.
And somebody's asking,
I agree.
it would be 1 year for the 30,000 rupees, or?
It's the academic year.
Yeah.
I second that, Prashanti, because it doesn't cut down just showing videos in PDF on the channels and you expect students to learn by their own. Rather, a business model like yours runs on economies of scope, where you have varied content and which gives a lot of experience and stickiness for your user. Is there a free trial available for consumers to use and get familiar to before they invest 30,000? What is the validity of 30,000? So customer, I think what they mean is a franchisee. Is there a way they can get a free trial to see how it works? And the validity has already been answered. That's one.
Yeah, I mean, well, if this question is referring to the customer for the application, our application is free of cost right now. And even if it's not, we offer a 7-day free trial when you download it. So yes, that is correct. They get a chance to try out the application for 7 days. Prior to the lockdown, that's how it worked. And the validity, as I mentioned earlier, is a full academic year.
Sure. And what kind of royalties are we charging the franchisee, and what share of royalties would go to an area franchisee? And will the area franchisee also get a percentage of the franchise fees through the sub-franchisees which come on board?
Yes, they do get the percentage, and again, that is open to negotiation for the sub-franchisee. The area developer right now, what we have modeled is 60% goes to the area developer, 40% comes to us. And, of course, if there's an area developer that is willing to invest a lot more, we are open to suggestions as well on that.
Okay, and are we looking at master franchisees, and under him we would appoint unit, or are we okay to start appointing unit franchisees as well, and then maybe perhaps if we get an area franchisee later on, we put all these units under him?
That's correct. We are okay with the second
with
one also.
either of the two.
Yes.
Okay.
Whoever comes to us first.
Okay, Prashantji, I think you missed out on the royalty part. What kind of royalties are we charging from the area and the master? Sorry, the area and the unit franchisee.
You're asking about the franchisee fee, or are we talking about the
royalty? Is there a royalty? Yeah.
The split is 60-40. 60% goes to the area and 40% comes to the company.
60 and 40 of what percent?
Of the revenue.
So for a franchise fees, that's a split between the franchise fees. 60% goes to the area franchisee and 40% comes to you. But Sonia is referring to the royalties which you charge per student fee. Out of the 4,500 you charge, what royalties they have to pay to you?
Yeah, from that itself, the split comes, basically from the 4,500, the 60% would go to them, to the area developer, and 40% would be paid to the company.
No, but for what then unit franchisee gets, because unit franchisee would come under the area developer.
Yes, that would be that we'll, when that situation comes up, we can negotiate with them at that time, based on the amount of investment that a unit franchisee is bringing in or some franchisees is bringing in.
Okay, Prashantji, we have somebody who comes from the background of animation based out of Lucknow, and both she and her husband, they're running an animation company in Lucknow, and she would like to know if this business can add on to the revenues, and would it be relevant for them to run something like this? Maybe their existing subscriber group or students would be a value add if they take a franchisee of Praadis.
Sure. Can they elaborate what kind of animation are they? Is it an institute that they're running?
That's not very clear. I think what she also has added, I mean, if a private limited company can get a franchisee and not an individual. So what we're talking about is an individual taking a franchisee. If they run a company, can they take the franchisee in the name of the company than an individual? Is also one of their questions.
Yeah, in the name of their own, yes, but as long as, but they're representing our brand though. We are not white labeling our brand to somebody else's. Just want to make that clear. If they're a company, if they're individual, doesn't matter. We're open to all types of franchisees.
Okay, we have an answer from Sonali. She says we are a video production company, so they are producing videos. Okay,
yeah, I mean, this is open to anybody who's it could be a value added. If I don't know what kind of who their audiences are. Sure. But if it is, up to 12th grade, then, yes, this is something that they can open up and the PLC model can benefit them a lot.
Sure. Prashantji, I have another question. While we did talk about the margins, there's somebody who wants to have a little more clarity on the earnings of a unit franchisee, and also a unit franchise model, investment revenue, and maybe the sharing of royalty. If somebody just takes a unit, he's not under a master. That requires a little bit of elaboration.
Yeah. So basically, the earnings under, I would say, if you look at, we are looking at the initial setup would have 36 students per slot. So we are looking at revenues of, just give me 1 minute. I'll just do a quick calculation. So it's about, so per slot is about 3 lakh rupees revenue per month you're looking at per slot. So if you do that, if you do the basic math, 36 slots, if you run 36 complete full slots, so you're looking at almost 10 lakh, 11 lakhs worth of revenue every month is what you're looking at. And if you look at the unit franchisee, you would say, it would go, 50-50. The area developer gets an additional 10% out of that. So the unit franchisee, if you're only a plain unit franchisee, sub-franchisee, you're not an area developer, it would be, so 6 lakh, about 5.5 lakhs goes into your pocket. And the remaining 5.5 is, distributed between the area developer and the company.
Okay, while we did talk about it, but looks like somebody has missed it. They wanted to know if we are also using AR and VR technology in our
We are using
applications.
VR. We are not currently using VR because VR requires you to have a specific set of what you call a specific headset. And right now that is not being recommended. So, but AR, yes, AR has been incorporated into our application, especially for the maths and science backgrounds. And that gives them a very good idea, especially for the board exam people, for your high schoolers from 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, it gives them a very good idea for being able to, even this lockdown, for example, doing their lab work. And we are enhancing that as well. And I think it will be a huge asset moving forward, because in the near future, people are still scared, me being parents myself, whether I'll be sending my child to school or not. So it will be a very handy tool to be able to do your, physics lab, chem lab, bio lab, maths, mathematics, things like that from the application itself, and without having to, handle any dangerous chemicals also.
And how many staff members are required, and typically what kind of salaries would that be, and what kind of training or background these staff need to have at the outset?
So what we have looked at is that, we have a model PLC that we are already working on. That you require minimum of, you need four interns, college students work, especially mathematics, science, coding club, and the reading club. So we work with we have 4 interns on board right now and 1 manager. So that's about 5 employees you have. And depending on the city you are in, that's where, right now in a city, for example, like a tier 2 or tier 3 cities, whatever the running cost of, what are the running salaries for an intern would be, I believe it's anywhere from 10 to 20,000 rupees we're able to, you're able to source cheaper as well. It's a little more expensive, but I think anywhere from 10 to 20,000 is what the cost of an intern is. And of course, having a good manager is very important. So that the manager salary, I would say, depends on, it varies city to city. So depending on which city you're opening this, that's where you would, but of course, if you have a manager and if you have multiple PSCs, I'm sure one manager is able to manage, like ours, like we have, one manager is able to manage at least 3 to 4 PLCs,
But you don't need counselors or people who would do the calling to get more students on road, because you need to have some sales function to get more students on board.
Right. So what we have done is that during then when we have spare capacity, so the interns double up as, our calling agents as well. Because the reason why is because they are very familiar. They've already gone through the training program. We offer to the management. The question was about the training. So we offer 7 days of training on site at our company location. And that's imparted. So they're already familiar with the whole model, what they're teaching, how are they mentoring. So those interns double up as their calling agents as well, in order to get in more students. And if they're already running at full capacity, they you can hire another 1 or 2 telecallers, as we call them, to be able to increase your marketing, increase your marketing and brand scope.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for these interns, if they bring in more students, it can be some kind of incentivization for them. So to make them.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Very interesting.
Okay, I have a question. There's a gentleman, Rangu, he wants to know if there's parallel sessions also which can be run for clubs, for different clubs. Like you mentioned there, a student can also enroll himself for more than 1 club. Is there a possibility to run these clubs parallelly, or these have to be run independent?
No, we can run them parallelly. You can run them. You can run parallel clubs. That's why I said you have 4 interns, basically one for each club. So yes, the question to that is yes, you can run parallel sessions for different clubs.
Also, I think
because everything is digital, so everything is already in our application.
Sure, and later you can also add a lot of other programs to maximize your timeline, because in coaching business, especially in the weekdays, because kids go to school, so they only come in the evening classes, but day classes are days normally available. And that time, because your platform is ready and you had said that you already have worked on what I call test prep and a lot of other programs.
Right.
These all programs can be very useful to be slowly integrated. When these clubs are on, maybe you're starting with what I call the younger age group, but later in some time slots, you can bring in a lot of skill up programs, a lot of other programs. So there can be multiple revenue streams which can come in, and it's also franchisee through their PLCs can maximize their more trading hours. So I think in coaching business, the trading hour has been a big problem because you only get 3 to 4 hours in the evening where everybody would like to come for a after school coaching. And I think if you are able to spread that, and the centers are, because they are in a retail environment, these days can be used for a lot of other learning for people. Especially, I think test prep is a very big industry in India. It itself is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that can be also integrated.
Yeah, I also like to, good point Mr. Mani pointed out, is that during the day, the interns can be your callers. And also having a PLC doesn't mean that you can, additional revenue can be earned by selling our application. So you're not only earning revenue through the clubs, you're getting another revenue because you have to have our application. You have to have the our application subscription in order to enroll into the PLC club. So you can double up and earn additional revenue by selling our, selling the Praadis application, and you get, the franchisees earn royalties and revenues on that as well. And a lot of the non-digital platforms, a lot of the non-coaching, for example, all the coachings are closed now. Big platforms like, for example, like Kumon, JEI that already exists in the US, they're completely closed down because they have zero digital platforms at the moment. But where we are still offering, having our own PLC, we're still offering interactive worksheets, having interactive games that are already available, adding new content as we go along, during the lockdown. There's two big,
yes,
go ahead, Mark.
Big pain points with the entire coaching industry always had. One was the talent itself, because I feel that why coaching industry was not able to scale. Even you see the big tutors, why every kid has to go to quota to study and so on and so forth, because they were not able to bring the talent and scale the talent. And so whenever they franchise, we work with a lot of companies out of quota or other places, these coaching centers. Whenever they wanted to franchise, they felt that they would not be getting the same quality of talent in other parts. So that became a huge issue for coaching brands to scale. But now technology, you can standardize that, you can bring the same consistency of content and delivery practices to the students. So that's one big part. And second, as you said, big technology company, you can give both experiences, experiencing in the center and experiencing back at home. So it gives you more integrated learning capability, and you stay on the same platform, because kids are getting tired now to work on multiple platforms at multiple spaces. So they go to coaching center in the evening where they study offline, and then they have tools which are online. So they become confused. So now it's a very integrated offering. So that way, I think your model has a lot of merit, and especially on the talent side, I see that's very big problem for the coaching industry. So now we're running to close to our closing time. We'd like to take some quick questions. Sonia, you want to take some quick question and final word?
I think we mostly have covered up all the questions. I see some questions coming up, how do you compare yourself with some of the competitors around, and how do you secure the content? I think one name, Byju's, is everybody talking about. Is there a competition threat, and how do you see yourself navigating through this competition?
Sure. So like at the start of, if somebody has missed this, so at the start of the webinar, I mentioned that, we offer all subjects, and it's based on curriculum. And I'm not going to point out any single competitor, but just generalize is that a lot of the people out there have generalized content. It's, it's basically maths or science or reading. It is not curriculum based. So they're just clearing the concepts. Our application is curriculum based. So for example, you can sign up for CBSE, you can sign up for ICSE, you want to sign up for the US curriculum, you want to sign up for the UK curriculum. So it is country and curriculum based application. So you're looking at the way things are taught in your school. You know, that's the beauty of our application. It is, you know, and customer service is our top priority. It's like I mentioned earlier, and you know that we don't just sell and run away. So we are there with you on WhatsApp. We are there for chat. We are available. Any issues that we have ever had, people come up saying, listen, we want a little more clarity on this topic. Can you maybe add this? It's not in any textbook. It's not there, but can you please add this as part of, you know, so we have our own, we add that content when that special request comes in. We look at, because for us, we want to go long term. We want to look at customers is God for us. You know, customers, you know, is what's going to run our business. And also, if you look at the cost, you know, you're offering, if you split up 8 modes of learning across so many subjects, the cost of 30,000 per subject per mode of learning amounts to nothing almost. Whereas a lot of the competitors are offering, you know, if you look at every competitor has, and like Mr. Mario mentioned, our application has, you know, an integrated method of learning. You know, and it encompasses everything in there. Not just live classrooms, different modes of learning, all subjects, including Sanskrit, one of the toughest subjects to be able to be offered online. We have managed to get that for grades 3rd to 12th. Sanskrit is there, and now we're going to be adding video lectures to that as well. Yes, there is the question just came up. Any discounts on software for students who join PLC as well? Yes, that is correct. There are discounts available as well on that. In terms of content security, our content is completely secure. I'm not going to divert into the technologies into that, but yes, our content is completely secure in terms of from being able to be copied and things like that.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Bhatia. I think this was very insightful, and we had a lot to understand how the entire structure works. So technologies, I feel, you know, they have a big potential now to shift the entire e-learning landscape, and we are seeing more than ever the time where the shift is becoming more prominent. And India will be the home of the world most valued, you know, EdTech companies, and we have examples of that. And I feel as a industry as a whole, it is on a growth trajectory since the last few years. And this pandemic or the virus has certainly given it a impetus to grow big. And we look forward to making big with companies like yours. But before we close, I'd like to hear maybe your closing notes and followed by Mr. Maria.
Sure. I just want to plan. One question was asked by Ms. Sonali. She asked that if you can tie up with schools and colleges. Yes, if you have those PR, if your PR is strong with schools, yes, the tie-ups. Like I mentioned, that we have the same software available to be made available in their schools through the smart boards. In terms of closing comments, I think like Ms. Sonia mentioned and Mr. Mani mentioned, that this is, I think, the perfect storm to give the boost. And I think the change that Indian education requires from moving from just, you know, being able to just offer your traditional textbook knowledge to be able to, you know, open up the minds of the children that maybe even the Western world is lacking now. And I think we have the technology to move forward and be the best that can be, you know, and give our children the best that we can offer.
India is the 3rd biggest online market. Maybe it takes a pole position in these times, and we are hopeful that should happen. Yeah.
Sure. I think we, as Sonia mentioned, that we're very proud of our association with you. I feel both from the kind of organization you've built with a lot of credibility. We feel that, and the kind of investment you've done to build this platform, I think this is a perfect time, and that's why Franchiseindia is extremely proud of this association, and we want to really work hard to spread your opportunity across India. Not only India, but I feel that this probably can be an opportunity which we can export out of India, because there are a lot of the franchise opportunities I see which can travel overseas. And education, Indian education has always been respected. I mean, I always give example that the real good franchise which has gone from India outside is DPS schools. So DPS schools were still running in about 40 countries. So I think Indian education, Indian coaching is well respected. And now with this, we can take, you can find people studying Sanskrit in Canada out of your technology platforms, you know. So, yes. And I feel that especially for a lot of Indian diaspora, they believe in Indian education, they believe in structure. So this opportunity, while you're starting from the PLC clubs in India, but as the world opens up, we would like to have you going also looking at overseas markets and giving franchise, especially in immediate markets like Dubai and places like that, where I see a huge gap on even the basic coaching. They send kids for a couple of months to India to get their coaching classes, and they're always feeling. This is also a great way for kids not to stay in their comfort zone. A lot of people are asking why now, because you don't want to send kids to Kota anymore or other places anymore for studying. I mean, obviously, you can get the same technology in your neighborhood, in your community centers, where kids can go with controlled environments and study there. So we have a big belief on this this platform. So if you can be, Prashant, kind enough to also write your email ID, so anybody who wants to reach out to you, they would be able to reach out. We are encouraging our investors to ask as many questions to get their comfort zone. And maybe they want to go through a little bit of trial, understand how this whole works, maybe see someone typing, and this opens up, maybe visit you and see the opportunity. But we feel that this is one of the great opportunities we can present to our potential investors. So thank you very much. Thanks for coming over for this webinar. Archana, over to you for final remarks.
So thank you, Gaurav sir. Thank you, Sonia ma'am, for sharing your thoughts, your viewpoint. Thank you so much, Prashant, taking out time today and interacting with all our investors, potential business buyers. For friends and panelists who have joined us, final thank from our side. We are writing all the details where you can reach out to Franchiseindia team for further one-to-one query or a tri-party call. We are also sharing the details of Prashantji. You can contact them. That's the final note from our side. Thank you so much. Take good care of yourself. My colleague is just sharing the next webinar information. We are doing next round of webinar on Monday, which is 18th. We are presenting you that particular day, Vivo Healthcare. They are India's first brand in healthcare education and training. Look forward to see you on Monday. Take good care of yourself and your family.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maya. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Bhatia. Stay safe. Good day ahead.
You too. You too. Thank you.